What's up, all you dysfunctional nerds? This is Aaron from Dysfunctional Nerdcast. I'm finally getting around to the poster collection video that I promised you guys. So I'm going to walk you through, just starting off with my statues that I didn't get to in my last toy video, just to give you a look. But let's get right into the poster. Here's my favorite. It's a Devil's Rejects Last Supper homage poster signed by the entire cast. What better poster than to go in your dining room? Here's my Halloween part of the collection. That's a Halloween 5 poster signed by Jamie, Rachel, and Michael. And then over here I have my Rob Zombie's Halloween. That's pretty much signed by the entire cast. And then finally my original Halloween poster, which is signed again by pretty much the entire cast, including Jamie Lee Curtis. Moving on, that's my Shawnee Smith autograph on the Saw headshot poster. And pardon my reflection, I know I'll get grief about it, but there you go. Here's one of my Walking Dead posters. This is signed by pretty much everyone from seasons 1, 2, and 3. I am missing Andrew Lincoln though, that son of a bitch. But I'll show you my other Walking Dead poster now. So this is the other Walking Dead poster, pretty much signed by everyone after season 3. That's what I'm continuing to get signed now. Moving on, here's a prom night poster signed by Scott Porter. Terrible movie, but I love Friday Night Lights and Scott Porter was a main character. Here's a I Spit on Your Grave poster signed by Sarah Butler, the star of the movie. And here's American Beauty signed by Mina Savari. Here's a Hostel 2 poster signed by Eli Roth and 2 of the stars. I'll pan up just above to her boobie. It's actually a really rare poster because it is nudity on it. I won't show it for YouTube's sake of pulling it off, but super rare because obviously they didn't distribute these to theaters. I got this from Eli Roth himself in New York. Here's the Stand By Me poster. This is actually my wife's, but I'll take credit for it. It's got John Cusack on there, Richard Dreyfuss, Corey Feldman, I forget who plays Eyeball Chambers, and a couple other guys. Here's my Friday the 13th Crystal Lake Memories poster. It's signed by every single person that ever played Jason Voorhees. Here's an E.T. poster, also the wife's, signed by Dee Wallace, Robert McNitton, who was the brother, and then one of his friends. Unfortunately, no Drew Barrymore. Moving on to the horror room of the house, as if the rest wasn't horror, this is my Saw 3 poster. This is extremely limited. The red's actually printed from Tobin Bell's blood. So this is signed by pretty much the entire cast, including Tobin from the Saw 3 movie. And then I also have the Saw 3D poster signed by pretty much the entire cast. Here's my Dexter print, signed by Jennifer Carpenter, who plays Deborah. Here's my Scream 4 poster. It's signed by Hayden Panettiere and Nev Campbell. And right next to that, I have my Friday the 13th remake authentic replica mask signed by Derek Mears. And if we go just a little bit to the left, official authentic replica Freddy glove signed by Robert Englund, of course. Here's a cast signed Cujo poster. And then right below it, I started a Bates Motel print, and it's signed by Dylan and Alex from the cast, hoping to get the other 3. So here's the Friday the 13th section. That's the final chapter poster signed by the whole cast. I have Feldman on there as well. And below that is the Part 8 poster signed by Kane Hodder, who played Jason. And then I have the remake poster signed by pretty much the main cast. And right next to that, my favorite, one of them, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster. This is signed by everyone who was currently alive. So no Tobe Hooper. He was alive when this started, but he's since passed. And unfortunately, the father, he was long gone. This is my Better Off Dead poster, signed by John Cusack. So this is the comic book themed room. This is my Sensational Spider-Man cover with the print sketch work. They're both signed by Angel Medina. And then above that, I have my 3 McFarlane signatures. That's obviously the first Spawn, but that's his first ever work on Spider-Man and his first ever work on Incredible Hulk. If I keep panning around, I have my Spawn print signed by Wilts Portaccio. And then again under that, signatures by McFarlane, Capullo, and Philip Tan, which were the 3 artists working on Spawn at that time. And then my Wonder Woman print signed by Greg Horn. Here's the Zombie Spider-Man print signed by the artist Arthur Saidam. And lastly in this room, my original copy of Astonishing X-Men, and they're signed by Phil Jimenez. Alright, so this is the pool table room outside the theater room. Just getting a little bit of a flow for you. Try to make it look almost like a movie lobby. But we'll start off. The Wonder Woman's not signed, unfortunately. Program, my favorite sports movie of all time, signed by Christy Swanson and Greg Sheffer. A couple other signatures on there. American Reunion poster, signed by about half the cast. Got Tara Reid on there, Shannon Elizabeth, Mina Savari again, and the dude who plays Kevin, forget his name at the moment. Keep signing or panning here. My Sons of Anarchy poster, it's signed by pretty much everybody but Charlie Hunnam. So again, if you listen to previous episodes, he's going to start doing shows. Mighty Ducks, it's a guilty pleasure, man. Who doesn't love it if you grew up in my era? So that's signed by 4 of the main team members. The new Nightmare on Elm Street poster, not the greatest movies of all time, but hey, it's got my girl Katie Cassidy. That's my #1 crush, so I had to get it signed. And then Lord of the Rings Two Towers poster, signed by Pippin and Sam. We'll keep panning here, and this is the Wrong Turn poster, signed by Liza Dushku. And then I have my H2O poster, signed by Jamie Lee Curtis and the girl who plays Sarah. Alright, again, not the greatest movie of all time, but it was a cool poster. Texas Chainsaw 3D, signed by Dan Yeager, who played Leatherface. And this is my poster to prove that I'm not the ultimate Marvel fanboy, because who doesn't have problems with this movie, but I still have it displayed. It's Superman Returns, signed by Brandon Routh, who was, of course, Superman. My X-Men Days of Evolution poster, it's signed by Evan Peters and the guy who played Colossus. Here's my Captain America, First Avengers, signed by Haley Atwell, played Agent Carter. And then the guy who played the Doctor, who actually gave Captain his powers. And then I have the second Captain America poster, which is signed by Sebastian Stan, who of course is Winter Soldier, and Anthony Mackie, who played Falcon. And then the first Avengers poster right next to that, which has the Stan Lee signature and Chris Hemsworth. So moving on, here's my Underworld poster, signed by Kate Beckinsale. This is the Breakfast Club poster, my all-time favorite movie, signed by Ali Sheedy and Anthony Michael Hall. And lastly, the Your Next poster, signed by Sharni Vincent, which I reviewed in our Monster Mania episode. Again, if you want to listen to us, we're at Dysfunctional Nerdcast on any iTunes or podcast directory. We're on Podbean, Stitcher. Follow us on YouTube. We're on Facebook under the same name. Give us an email at dysfunctionalnerdcast@gmail.com. And sorry for delay, but here it is, folks. Thanks.